So we talked a lot about different types of opportunities, and we assessed the opportunities in different ways. We looked at strategies. Eventually you will need to pitch the opportunity, because either you're going to sell it as a supplier to a customer, you're going to sell your company to an investor, or have an investor inject money into it. Or sometimes, if it's an internal opportunity within a company, you need to sort of get it approved as a business case. So let's look at those three cases, shall we? So first of all, we'll present a framework called GAME. Then we'll go through sales pitches, business case pitches, and then finally investment pitches. So GAME is an acronym, and so it's goal, and the goal for the presentation or the pitch. You need to think about what is the goal. Because you might actually end up with several meetings, and there should be a different goal in every meeting. Sometimes you want to plant a seed, an idea. Sometimes you want to proceed to next step, or sometimes you want to close. Next is audience, A. So you need to think about who is in the room, who are you presenting to, and what do they actually care about as individuals? What are their incentives and goals, and what do they have strong feelings and opinions about? And how do I make these individuals feel seen and look good when they present this thing internally? Then message. You need to think about what are the key pieces of information that you want to convey. What is most important that you get through? And how can you tailor this message to this audience? Finally, E, for engagement. And this is, how do you get this audience excited? What is your story? What questions should you ask to sort of get some interactivity, interaction, and what questions should you anticipate from this audience? So let's look at some different types of pitches then. So first of all, sales pitches. What is the goal here? Well, you might actually have several sales meetings to close a deal. Early on, you want to qualify the prospect, and you have this acronym BANT. Budget, authority, need, and timing. And there are versions of this, but basically it means figuring out if this customer is someone you want to engage further with. Do they have budget? Do they have authority to make the deal? Do they actually have a need for it? And is the timing right? Again, there are versions of this. So that might be one meeting. You might have a pitch meeting, and then you might have a closing meeting where you want to get to the deal, but you want to tailor you can't use the same presentation or pitch for all of them, right? So you need to think about that. Second, audience, and this is very different if you're selling B2B or B2C, because B2B tend to be more rational, more feature-oriented. They'll probably look at several possible suppliers, so they want rational arguments, and they care about return on investment. B2C is much more feelings-oriented. They might not consider other options sometimes, depending on how big the sell is. And so you need to cater much more to human drives and have a solid value proposition. Message, you need to focus on their outcomes after you buy. We'll talk more about that in marketing and sales, but you need to think about and try to convey how will their life, or as a business or an individual, become better after they buy what you're selling. And to know this, to know how they will be affected, you need to listen much more than you speak in the meeting. That's very, very important, because everyone wants to feel seen, feel heard, but also they might have objections, and you want to sort of preempt objections. So you need to have a list of sort of argument if they counter with something. Finally, engagement, and this, for many different types of pitches, it's all about telling a story, help the customer visualize what using your product or service will feel like, and what outcomes they will be able to achieve with this. Moving on to business case pitches, internal pitches within your company. There are at least 3 types of goals that you can have with this type of presentation. Either you need to get feedback from stakeholders within the company to sort of take with you and reiterate on the message. You might need to get buy-in from different stakeholders, or you need to get to a decision. And then it's important to have the right people in the room. The audience can vary, and they will care about different things. If it's the CEO or a board, they'll care about strategic fit. does this fit into our plan? And obviously ROI. Everyone will care about ROI. CFO, the CFO might care about the costs, like give me a budget, solid arguments. Head of legal will care about the risks. And the team lead, who is actually responsible for carrying out what you're proposing, or whose resources you are about to claim, will care about the resources and time frame. In terms of message, you need to size up the opportunity properly and give a feel for how big this opportunity is. You need to, again, talk about the strategic fit with the plans of the company, the ROI and the time frame, and finally the resources that you'll need to consume to do this business case. And again, it boils down to storytelling, putting this into a context of this company, and then visualization. Like, what will this look and feel like when it's actually there? And this can take different forms, right? Finally, investor pitches. And this is a somewhat typical image of a venture capitalist down there with the down west. And basically you have two goals. Ultimately you want to get to the partner of the VC firm, because the partner makes the decisions. And you want to sort of secure the deal. But the first meetings you might not be able to meet the partner. So then the goal of that meeting is to get to the partner. And then the meeting with the partner, you want to secure the deal eventually. The audience will vary from associates, junior people at the investment firm. They'll care about facts and data. Then you have the principal who's about to become partner. They look at your investment as a career potential, a career opportunity. So for them it's important to see that this might take them to partner. Then you have the partner, and they have all kinds of different views on this, because they obviously care about the upside of the investment, but they also care about the timing in relation to their fund. Their fund might be closing down soon and they can't really make any new investments. There might be conflicts of interest with other companies in their portfolio, etc. In terms of message, you need to convey the size of the opportunity. That's always important, and the uniqueness and the moat of your company or your investment proposal. Then you'll need to state the investment need and the possible ROI and outcome of the investment. And it's always important when you sell to an investor to present your team in a great way, because team is all that matters when it comes to investments. Finally, engagement. You need to paint a solid vision of where you're going and where you're heading. You need to obviously tell a good story, but then finally you want to install a sense of urgency, meaning now is the time to invest. I have other investors knocking on the door. Make a move now or you'll regret it forever. And that's actually very, very, very important when it comes to venture investments, at least. Finally, you need to think just about if you're pitching to investors, you need to think long-term and vision and present this vision for the future. Whereas if you pitch as a salesperson to a customer, it's much more important to focus on today. What's here for you today? What value can we bring to you today? Business case pitches can focus both on the long and the short term, but all in all, as you see, the strategy here, going from today to the vision, having different positionings along the way. The sales pitch should focus on your current positioning. The investor pitch should focus on your final or vision positioning. And that's it for the different types of pitches, and we'll be able to practice this together now. Thank you.